Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome everybody to the All Juve cast, where it's all Juve all the time. We got a tough one to dissect today, but we're here no matter what. It's Fino alla Fina for a reason. So, yeah, good or bad. And honestly, you got to go through these moments to celebrate the victories and make them that much more sweeter, right? So,
No, you
just
don't.
part of the game, part of the game.
No,
So,
it isn't.
Big Bandeezy, you know it, buddy. Today's episode, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be something. Bob, as always, joining us. Good morning, Bob. And Mohammed. Good morning, guys. The thumbnail, yeah, pretty much sums up our season so far, and we'll sum up our rest of the season. I thought that was a fitting one for this match. Cuadrado in agony there. He put me through some agony yesterday. I'll tell you that much. So, and of course, we're going to get into it. So we've got the 1-1 draw with Venezia. Okay. We're going to break it down. We're going to get our thoughts. There's a lot of comments and questions that came in. We held a spaces on Twitter and it was entertaining to say the least. We had a couple decent debates firing up there that we're going to bring along and expand into on this show. So yeah, guys. Oh, geez. We'll kick it off with the lineups. I had no issues with the lineups.
Zero.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he kept it with the 4-2-3-1, which we wanted to do. We wanted to see them build on that and continue moving forward. A little bit of a wild card thrown our way due to injury yet again, and kind of changes things. So yeah, we'll start breaking this down. We'll get into the highlight reels here, and yeah, of course, we're talking about Dybala, and we'll elaborate on all that and talk about all the aftermath in this one with the highlight reels. Real quick before we get into the highlight reels, if you're listening to the podcast on audio, get over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, join the live chat where, yeah, all the fire really is. So these guys bring it every single time and we love it. So now, without further ado, let's pull out these slides here.
You mean slide?
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much. Let's be honest. And this is one of the things we all kind of discussed a bit, and I highlighted in this, and I highlighted it yesterday on the spaces. This did not, for me, feel like a match that reflected some of the statistics in it. Like 20 total attempts for Juventus, it did not feel that way, like any way, shape, or form. Did it feel that way for you guys?
7 corner kicks in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Come on. You got to do something with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tony G. Hey, guys. Hey, Tony. Thanks for joining. So here we have a corner early on, and we got to mention that Dybala is already out at this point. 11th minute, Dybala's got a sub off. We saw DeCilio get into an awkward scenario, awkward challenge. Looked like he was going to be the one out, and then the camera pans onto Paolo, and you're thinking, what on earth have you done, DeCilio, by transferring your injury to Paolo? Just step off the pitch, DeCilio. What is going on here? So
settle
Dybala
down.
has to take off. Now, yeah, corner kick. I believe it's Delict, back post, heads it back in there. And Caio Jorge is actually in good position. He deflects this one, but unfortunately over the bar. And yeah, that's an early opportunity there. You would have liked him. Go ahead.
He was on for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Basically. He just ran in for the corner kick. And I apologize for my voice. I know it sounds like a sputtering Vespa, so I'm going to not try to talk too much today. But that should have been an easy finish, but he caught it on the up bounce. So when it was on the up bounce, he just tried to toe it, and that thing was only going one place, and that's up and over.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
So unfortunate, because it was a good opportunity. And from there, you still like to see that. I get it on the up bounce. It's tough, but you want to see those at least bang home, right? So we'll carry on to the next series here, and this is Pellegrini. Pellegrini taking a little bit of a step over, one quick step to the side, and having a quick cross in. And apparently, this is what we need to do with Alvarito: is give him weird, strange deflections, and he'll put him in, because he puts this one in, and I'm thinking, my God. So he just needs to have like an insane degree of difficulty to score goals. Like, I don't understand it. But anyways,
but that's what he is. He's not a back to goal striker. He's not a hold it up number 9. He gets the poaching goals, attacking the goalie, running in, tipping him in. That's how he scores goals.
Yeah. So we're starting to see this very much so with Alvarito. Anyways, 1-0 lead for Juve. Okay, great. Let's carry it on. And we get to the next series here, and Pellegrini again does well. Striving in on his man after megging him here. Slots one through across again to Morata. Almost takes a stumble. And you're thinking, oh man, he's got a quick decision to make
Right there.
and he kind of waits, takes it a little too far, and the pass is gone. He's got he's trying to cut it across to Kyle Georgie at that point. It's gone. Romero's good keeper, and it's not going to work there. He had his moment, but it looked like he was stumbling, and you could kind of see it in this.
He was
frame
shooting
here.
that. I think he's the window closed on him to pass it right there.
Yeah, and when that's gone, have a rip. Like have a
I believe that's what he was doing. I think he was just shooting far side, hoping for a tip rebound.
Ooh, if that was a shot.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Okay. This one, fast break, Cuadrado. Cuadrado coming up the side here. This was an interesting one because little bit of a split there on people thinking, like, does he make the pass quicker kind of around here to try and get to Morata around the bend? Is that the play that you're thinking, Tony?
Yeah, Kyle's in the middle. Morata's at the back post.
Sorry, Morata's back post. Kyle's right here.
Yeah.
Lucci, do you agree?
As soon as he hits that 18-yard box, that should have been on the ground across.
For sure.
He waits. Defender closes over to him. He ends up getting a shot that honestly he doesn't miss by much. But yeah, in this view, watch him back. You got to put that just ahead right here.
Isn't that the selfish play though? Like he's got to feed the 9.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's tough because he's our assist guy. So it's like it's a weird one that he took this one that point because. Yeah, I don't know. He's got the lead pass just ahead of Kyle there. So strange one. But anyways,
but we've seen Juan rip those before, right? We've been in the same position where we're like, Juan, pass it, and then he rips that far post, and we're like, brilliant shot.
The only way that would go in if it deflected off someone. He only scores off deflections or bad goalkeeping.
Oh, Lucci.
Oh, man.
We knew we were going to get the Cuadrado love out of Lucci on this clip. Okay, so carry on here. This one, started to get lackadaisical in the second. Like, we came out really flat. Yet again, another trend that you hear about with this team. And just way too lax on the defense here. This one, player cuts in, has a shot easily handled by Tech. Could have and probably should have been much more challenging, but he put it straight at him, thankfully for us. Then you get to the little bit of a scramble here. I'm going to say that this all started by terrible lazy play right at the halfway line for Juventus and just being really lazy. Stupid passing and then not getting stuck in and going after it and just going in really soft. And Venezia had no problem. They worked it up the right flank. They crossed it in here, and then it just became an absolute shit show. So Bobbles here, right here on this play, I lost my mind. He went so soft after this free ball. There is no way with that ball right there, this player does not get to it before this guy. That's the effort level that I'm losing my mind on when I watch this thing.
Was that Locatelli there?
I believe it was. And it's so frustrating. Now, not only does he get
Whoa. Can you go back a slide? I didn't realize that guy.
Yeah. So this ball scrambles out here. There is no way this Juve player should be losing this free ball. Okay. Yeah. And that's this guy coming in here, look, he closes space. This is ridiculous. So he lets up because he went so slow for that ball, almost like he just took it for granted he was going to get there. And then he couldn't even challenge because if that guy goes into the area, it's too challenged. So he shot himself in the foot there. And then look at this. DeShilio standing here. You got two guys on one guy here. And here's Amaru who just gets the top of the area for nothing. And still after all this, but the effort level was down big time second half.
Where's
He comes in
Rabiot?
here, and there's nobody anywhere near picking this guy up on the shot. Still credit to the shooter because it was a great shot.
But why the hell's Rabiot over here at the corner?
It's
Rabiot was
Yeah.
completely lost.
Thank
Let's be
you.
clear on this one. This entire game, Rabiot is lost. Even when you look at Berna in here, like our structure fell apart. We go through these lapses, and again, we have to remember when Dybala went out, he reverted back. Max reverted back to a 4-4-2 for quite a period of time before starting to slide Bernardeschi centrally. It's one of the things I'm going to touch on here after we get to it. And honestly, this probably should have been a goal. Bernardeschi had an amazing opportunity. Massive save by Romero. Massive save by Romero. He did well on the ball. You don't think he should be burying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah,
From the spot?
Okay, the issue with this one was when you take a ball like that, right, and it pops up and it's coming straight down in front of you, you're not going to generate a lot of power on it.
Dude, he smoked it.
Yeah, he crushed it.
He smoked that thing.
But it was central,
right? But you're not going to generate as much as you can. Like with standing straight, he should have angled it more to like the corner. He shot it straight at him.
See, I think it's hard to and this is where we're going to get into it because 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a shot from over in the corner, kind of like where this ref is standing in this picture. It was a bullet, but it was right at Tech, and you're saying there's no way he's going to save this one. Here's Bernardeschi, right friggin' here at the penalty spot, dead on. He smoked that thing, and even if you're smoking it centrally, that's a difficult save. Romero had to jump. He had to jump and extend upwards to make that save. Even close to him centrally, that's a tough save for a keeper to make.
Yeah, but
if he's trying to slot that into a corner on a volley, I'd argue that's way harder to do than trying to smoke it.
But it's a harder save for the goalie.
Oh yeah,
of course,
right?
No doubt.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he didn't make a
do, man.
Like he made a good save.
Still, and you're facing this way. How are you gonna? You would have to try an outside of the boot swerve.
Outside of the boot. That's what I'm saying.
Which is tough. Like he did every day of the week, man. Romero made a great save.
It was Bernardeschi's only option, but it was the easiest save for the goalie to make in that situation because it was right at him. Not say it was an easy save, but if it was to his side at all, it would have been the back of the net.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. Anyways, Berna played a good game. So I'm not going to rag on Berna. When we reverted to the 4-4-2, that's one of the main issues I have in this particular match. So we're going to get to our summaries real quick, and mine's really, really easy. It's simply unacceptable in a must-win match to come out that way. My biggest problem with this is these substitutions were laughable.
Yes.
They were laughable. You're chasing a goal. You've only got creation once Dybala left out of Bernardeschi, and you take him off the pitch. Pellegrini, your second source of any type of creativity, you took him out. You went to a 4-4-2, which was dead before, and we were trying to go to a 4-2-3-1, and you didn't even have your hands tied. You didn't have your hands tied because Sule was sitting on there, and when he came in the 83rd minute or whatever, he ended up being one of the best players on the pitch.
Okay, someone help me out with this one because I'm not as smart as you guys. Is Sule technically a winger?
I think so.
I think he's like a hybrid attacking mid. And I think he could play on the wing as well.
So he would be more of like in Dybala's spot in the 4-2-3-1.
We're on the right, no?
Or on the outside.
On the right.
Yeah.
On the outside. Okay.
Now, the thing is, this is, again, the subs I thought were awful. You end up with Rabiot playing a full 90 who should have been taken off much earlier in this game. Completely lost in the second half, causing us headaches left, right, and center. He gets a full 90. Then you end up with a midfield of Bentancur, Rabiot, on there on the same time. We've seen this. We've seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this movie too many times. The main argument for getting to that midfield was to take back control of that midfield. We weren't losing control of the midfield. We had no structure and organization. Would you guys agree with that?
Danny, you can start, buddy.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. You're taking off probably arguably your two best players in the match to bring on Bentancur and Alexandro. Like, how are those two going to bring you a goal? Every time Sandro touched the ball, he turned it over anyways. So I don't know. It's frustrating. And then you leave off Sule to the 85th minute or whatever. Like, what do you expect him to do within 5-8 minutes? You need to give him some time to get creative, to get the feel for the ball. As soon as he made those subs, you just kind of felt like nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, and that attacking edge is just kind of dead, stagnant. So we had this lull, and it was when we were in the 4-4-2. He kept Bernardeschi wide. It didn't pick up again until he slotted Bernardeschi centrally. So the argument yesterday became,
well, when did that happen? Because I was completely lost. And when he made those substitutions in the second half, I had no idea what formation
when we
he was running.
switched, when Dybala came off the field, Caio Jorge comes on, it went to 4-4-2.
It went to a 4-4-2.
So Morata and Caio Jorge were the two forwards. Bernardeschi went outside of Locatelli and Rabiot, and Quadrado was on the other side. Turned into a 4-4-2.
Okay, so you're not saying he came into a 4-4-2. Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah. After a lull in play, Bernardeschi finally started to get central.
Mm-hmm.
Caio Jorge kind of took up a little bit of a free role between him and Morata. They started to interchange on who would go wide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then we started to create again, and it started to get a little bit better. We didn't lose the midfield that you have to bring in Bentancur and keep Rabiot out there and everything. We started to get brutal in turnovers with Rabiot. Rabiot was one of the main guys. Rabiot was awful, and he was lost positionally. Then Sandro is going to come onto the pitch. The first time he touches the ball, he moves like we are up 8 goals. And I can't stand that. And that's why I'm really livid. My biggest thing is results will come, results will go. The effort level must always be at the top. And for me, it was so negative on a lot of these moves. I can't handle that. Now we get into Max taking blame and the players, because Max still gets an absurd amount of protection because of where this roster is. So we agree on where the roster is.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people going after management and Yelly and all that. I don't care about how we got here. I know how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
That's beating a dead horse. It's time to talk about what these guys need to do and what this manager needs to do to right the ship. When I look at this game, you're telling me we were starting to make a shift to the 4-2-3-1. How on earth does Caio Jorge step onto the pitch and almost look like he has no idea where to go, what to do, and how to play? You should have been working on this. You should have known your alternatives, and it should have worked. The fact that Max had to revert to a 4-4-2 when his hands were not tied. Caio Jorge has played a wing before. Just so you guys are aware, he's been a winger before. The fact that Max did that, Max takes a lot of blame. How come we don't have our other guys and we don't know who can fill in these other roles? At the end of the day, a coach's job is to get the best of the players he has. If the players he has are not of quality, it's still his job to have them resemble a team. I saw nothing that looked like he came off a training pitch. And I still continue to see nothing that resembles a team that trains together.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here to see this.
It was
and
a tough
I still
one
think we
yesterday.
want individual play. And my problem is when people bring this up and say, well, look, he's got no impact guys on the bench. Are you still looking for individual brilliance? Because one of the things that we always hacked on Max was being saved by individuals. So the guys that say this, he's got no impact guys on the bench, that is still looking at this thing from an individual standpoint. And that's like saying that we could pick any player on the planet right now insert him into this lineup and he saves the game for us. Bullshit.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Come on, Ant. That's enough.
Bullshit. This team needs to start playing like a team. Summaries. Lucci, go first, and then we'll get to Raspy Ant.
Well, I just wanted to touch on that. We were having a conversation yesterday on Twitter saying that, we brought in Bentancur to hold possession, to win back the ball, but that wasn't our issue. The issue was not being able to score. You're not going to bring in another midfielder that can't score. If anything, I understand. 100%. But I understand Rabiot, whatever, he had a decent, okay first half, and then he fell off. So if you want to bring in Bentancur, take off Rabiot, not Bernardeschi, arguably your best attacking player yesterday after Dybala went off. Like, how are you going to score a goal if you have no creativity? Okay, Cliff.
So,
sorry,
Cliff
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Cliff. I didn't mean to offend with the language. I'm fired up today. My bad. It's freezing cold over here in Canada. I've been shoveling for days. Okay, and then I got to watch this game. I'm frustrated.
So the thing we got to deal with is when guys like Cliff fire at something like this.
Yes.
No, we don't need to watch out for Venezia. Venezia stink. All right. Venezia did not tie that game. We dropped points in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Second of all, I would say that my confidence in Max is starting to shake a little bit, like my vocal cords. Right. Getting shaky. You want to know, again, on the All Juve cast, we have a lot of smart guys here. If you know any ladies who want to jump on the pod, we're looking to, diversify our portfolio as well. Send their names through, because, who wants to just keep looking at us? Eric put out a good tweet yesterday. As soon as the substitution was made, I'm just going to read it here. Thought when Paulo came off, it would have made more sense for Keane to come on and move Burna centrally. So you keep the 4-2-3-1.
Yep.
And Caio hasn't been awful, which he wasn't awful. He just wasn't really impactful. Caio hasn't been awful, but I don't think he's been great. And we had to switch to more of a 4-4-2 formation, which hurts us. Keane would have kept us at a 4-2.
No, but see, that's on Max, though. Because
that's the point.
Okay. That's the point.
He's
right, and that's why I had to reiterate. Max's hands were not tied.
Mm-hmm.
He had the players to keep the 4-2-3-1 going, and this is why I go a step deeper into training, because how are these alternatives in these scenarios not worked out so that you basically avoid having to, number one, go back to a 4-4-2, and number two, having players that don't seem like they understand what their role is in that setup. How does that not take place? For anybody to say Max is not accountable is strange to me, and to just put it to the roster.
If there was ever a game that Max was accountable, it's this one. This is the one where you can really point the finger and say, we dropped points on this one because of Max. I know you can say that he's not on the field, the players don't play, but they knew Dybala wasn't going to make it 45, 46 minutes.
That made no sense to me.
They knew that, because Caio was ready quick, and they switched that up instantly. I'm like, I didn't even know Dybala was off, and then Caio's on. I'm like, they knew that he wasn't going to last, so he was ready. And
why even risk him then? It's Venezia.
You have to, because he's our best player. But
but if you prepare from the first minute to have Burna centrally, then you have Keane or Cow off the left. You're prepared for this.
That's everybody's point, is that Max, we all feel that Max got that change wrong, where he had to switch to a 4-4-2.
I think, honestly, I see a lot of it. Yesterday, I had a lot of issues with effort.
Yeah.
The effort level, the drive, and the determination was not there. And the certain culprits to get the full match, unacceptable.
That's another thing.
Prime case in point, Rabiot. So we want competition at positions. And Pellegrini should not have been taken off the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Should not have been. Flat out.
You got to stop taking early yellows.
Yeah, that doesn't help. But you left
that didn't help.
Quadrado, who was bottom of the one of our worst players yesterday.
Quadrado's the amount that he spent on the turf and was going to ground in scenarios he didn't need to was extremely frustrating. Morata did a lot of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Morata shut down some of our own counters because he was on the ground complaining. I'm frustrated with that. There's a time and place, but you really got to understand the scenarios and just be better. Like, we just played so soft and so weak. And the second half, especially, unacceptable. We have to name a man of the match for StripedHeartsApparel.com sponsor.
Oh,
If you had
I
to
didn't
pick
prepare for that.
your standout for Juve, who do you give the man of the match to in this one?
I honestly didn't prepare for this question.
I would like to give it to Berna for 3 matches in a row, but you know what? I'm going to go with Pellegrini. At least he showed some fight. He was good defensively. He was God in the attacking third. He threw in a couple crosses that apparently no one knows how to finish. Yeah, option the bar wasn't set very high, so
I think for me it's between Berna and De Ligt.
Yeah, De Ligt had a good one too.
De Ligt was a beast. And it's sad that he needed to be against Venezia.
Mm-hmm.
I might just go with this. I'm having a good beard day. I'm having a good hair day at 9 o'clock in the morning. Could just go with that, but I won't.
Okay, guys.
Hang on. I haven't picked my guy yet, man.
That was terrible.
Breaks.
You picked your beard.
That's awful, and just leave.
Okay. I was gonna go with Morata. I thought that was his best game in a while, even though it wasn't a great game. I thought his second half. I thought his second half was like his effort was there, even though we didn't generate much.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm not looking down in disappointment. I'm actually looking at the numbers here.
Jeez. If you're looking at the numbers, then Rabiot would probably be man of the match.
Mohammed,
Forget it. I'm sticking with my beard.
Okay. Mohammed's got a question. We are going to get to your question, Mohammed. Okay. We are going to get, but we're going to save it for a bit because first we want to get into a few topics that come out of this one. Number one, Lucci kind of touched on it in terms of Paulo Dybala and if he wasn't ready to go, taking that chance, whatnot. But let's get into this. The extension, the contract extension. Everybody's saying no, there's absolutely no way you can do it anymore. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this one. We're going to kick this one off with Anthony this time. And Anthony, the Dybala extension, does this change things? Because it's not just a concern anymore. It is a legitimate problem now. It is a problem now.
When he's on the field and available, he is our best player. And players like that are not easily replaced without having to pay a large transfer fee. Like, you have the player, he's here. I think you sign it. You have to.
Yeah. And I'm going to get Lucci's point here. Lucci, your thoughts?
It's hard to disagree because, you can't let him go for free. He's still a great player, like Ant said, when he's available. Mm-hmm. And he's arguably our best player, if not maybe second best, because I don't know, I'd take Chiesa over Dybala just due to fitness reasons. Yeah, I think it's too late. I think, we kind of touched on this yesterday. I think it's just too late. Everyone said it's going to happen. I think it's got to happen at some point.
I love Paulo Dybala. Love him. I think he's a great player, talented, but
there it is.
You can't rely on him.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. The problem is Juventus also can't let him go for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have enough assets that we could just simply let a guy that will still gain attention. He will still get a transfer move if Juventus wants to sell him and he wants to go another route. Another part of this that not a lot of people are talking about is the fact that Paulo himself, this is the scary part. Say Juventus, if we all kind of agree that Juve does not want to, needs to extend him. Say they need to extend him. We can't let him go for nothing. You in turn run the risk that Paulo will not accept a transfer after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you may still end up with a player that has this injury issue, can't stay fit, and you're tied into. So it's a very, very difficult situation and a tough pill to swallow for Juve because, man, if all of a sudden he shuts down moves because we know how Paulo is, we know what he's been saying and that he wants to stay, you either have to get aggressive and say like, no, look, like, what, we're giving you this contract, but we want to sell you out, or is it in fact best to let him walk? And I thought about this a lot yesterday because I'm one of the guys saying we don't have enough assets to let him just walk. But the more I think about it, you could be in a lot of trouble by doing it. You really, really could.
Financially.
Yeah. Because if all of a sudden you sign him and the same problems keep going, and then he won't accept a transfer out.
And I don't think he would. I think if they sign him,
that's a real possibility of us signing that extension, even if we wanted to move, because this is one part of the debate that a lot of people say, even if you have to extend him, you could still move him after the fact. But what if he simply does not accept a transfer to any of the teams interested?
The thing is, who's going to want to pay him $10 million?
Nobody.
Right. So it would be tough to move him if he doesn't like the destination, and finding a team that would pay him $10+ million would be like, your options are what, 5 teams, if that?
Yeah.
It's, man.
Do you take the money you would dump in that, let him go and try and go all in on Pogs?
Ooh.
Because you're not spending 10 million on him. Maybe you spend 14 on Pogs.
Would you? So hang on. You're saying, would you let Dybala go
for nothing and try to jump in on that free, which technically is nowhere near free on Pogba, but all of a sudden you're saving that much in salary?
That's a good question.
It's an interesting.
That's a different. See, why didn't we start with that?
It's an interesting hypothetical.
Damn.
How old's Pogba? Is he 30 yet?
He's not 30 yet.
28, 29?
27, 28, yeah.
Oh, I'm writing that down.
So Big Bandana seems to be on the same page that, who's going to be buying him, who's going to be taking that risk, because now it's starting to be evident with Paulo, right? So as much as we love Paulo, as much as we understand there's not a lot of strong assets in this Juve side, that could really bite us in the long run. And it's a tough question to ask. And this is going to be split big time. And it's tough. It's a hell of a spot Juventus is in. A hell of a spot. Yeah. It would have been easier if they did the extension years ago when they wanted to, because it would have been at less money and he would have been extended. And then at this point, you could have made a decision and probably just sold him. And you could have sold him by now if that's the route you wanted to go. But it's an interesting one. They said a lot of the talk circulating has been that Juve has never believed and that they've never truly treated him as a project, which is why, because you can't depend on him. And that's why they brought in guys like Higuain, guys like Cristiano Ronaldo, is because that he's just not that guy. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Dan.
Man, I kind of see it. I do. He's frustrating because how can you offer him 10 million when he's only playing 60% of the matches? And then even in some of the big matches, he's not our best player when you need him to be. So how can you revolve a future project or a rebuild, whatever you want to call it, around someone who isn't always there? Chiellini,
we're talking about Dybala, right?
Yeah. Or I was. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. Like all the players that you need your best players to be there. You need them to show up in the big matches. And for me, he doesn't always do that.
Dybala's been our best player this year, hands down. Like I don't even think it's.
I don't know, man. It's not that close. I mean, it's not that black and white to me.
Maybe De Ligt has been more.
De Ligt's been good. Locatelli's been asked to manage a whole midfield by himself. Bernardeschi has a strong season. I don't know.
My biggest thing is our team goes as Dybala goes. When he's on, the team's on. It just has that feeling that, like when Locatelli's on, he's on every game. but sometimes the team is still as shaky
Yeah.
as my throat. When Dybala's on, the team's on. Like,
But that's
True.
because Max is trying to have a system that focuses on Dybala and his strengths. What happens if you have a system or tactics that focus on Chiesa and getting him more involved and getting the best out of him? Because we haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
I want to
Good
see
point.
Chiesa in a 4-2-3-1.
Yes, exactly.
I won't pass judgment till I see that. But it's an interesting hypothetical, right? You let Paulo walk, go all in on a mid. We
You know
need
what?
a general in the middle of the park.
I-
Vlahovic is still the dream in January for Juventus.
I don't think
Scamacca
so.
might be the alternative. Apparently, the rumors now are that Cavani has opened himself up to Juventus. Ooh, Lucci getting a little.
I'd consider it.
Cavani,
I don't
Cavani
see
would
him.
be for stopgap January,
Yes.
January on.
But would he do that to
would be-
Napoli?
Cavani would be deadly from January on, I think. But I don't see the need to go anything beyond that, and that's probably where it's going to shut down.
Yeah.
Is he not getting playing time?
No. Or not much anyway. I
Not
wouldn't
much.
think.
No. So it's interesting to see which route they're going to go. The problem is I don't see us getting big players in mid and striker.
Yeah.
Right? Even come summertime. I don't see it.
You know what, Al? I think I would let Paulo go and bring in Pogba. I think I'd do it. If it was possible, I think I'd do it.
If it was a possibility,
Yeah.
you would do it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
And
you know
John
what?
Stewart's agreeing Cavani on a stopgap
Yeah.
improves us vastly. And
Like,
I'm
yeah.
there because
Yeah.
watching these guys try and finish is painful.
Yeah, he's a clinical finisher. Always has
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. So, and Sal saying that, the Pogba seems like another one more player will fix this type scenario. Well, ultimately, this is the fine line between your manager needing to do what's best with the guys that he has
Mm-hmm.
and picking up the quality. Saying Pogba won't make a difference. I agree in a sense of right now, it's hard to figure out anything, but that's on Max.
Yeah.
Because right now, I think, Eric made the comment yesterday, you could bring Jesus Christ himself and put him in this lineup and it's not going to make a difference because we do not play as a unit.
Yeah.
But you cannot tell me Pogba walking into this team doesn't improve things because it would. The only problem is Pogba does not suit a 4-2-3-1, and that's part of the issues. So, Rovella is another guy. He's someone we own. Like there's a lot of possibilities, but the Dybala one is a very, very tough question to ask right now, and it's interesting getting your guys' thoughts on that. Anthony, we had a couple questions come in from
I got him.
some followers on Twitter there and stuff that you wanted to get to. So let's get those going now. And don't worry, Mohammed, we're gonna get to your question that came much earlier. I promise you.
Have his? Okay, so we'll go through some questions here. We'll do some hot takes with the boys, and then people in the chat listening online. You get your questions ready. We'll try and remember them. But we'll start with these ones here. So the first one I have, this one's really good. Can't remember who asked it, but do you reckon that Allegri this actually might be from Eric. Do you reckon that Allegri is losing the dressing room?
I think it was from Peter Balistreri.
Oh,
Yes.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter
Storm the
Balistreri.
barn. Storm the barn.
And by the
think
way,
Allegri's losing the dressing room?
congratulations on expecting your second child there, Peter.
Whoa,
Much love.
nice.
Congratulations. Now,
Sweet. Now let's get down to business.
I don't believe Max is losing the dressing room. I don't think he's losing the dressing room whatsoever. The problem is not something that's just come up. You got guys that lack drive, lack determination, whatnot. I don't think he's lost the dressing room, but I think he needs to get the competition back on the areas of the pitch like that require it. If you're not cutting it, you simply can't play. And I'm at the point right now where I don't care who the alternative is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just simply doesn't even matter. If you're not putting in the effort, if you're getting beat consistently on 50-50 balls without the effort required, I really don't care who the backup is. He's going in because that just can't happen. And that's all I'm asking for out of Max. But do I think he's lost the locker room? Absolutely not. I don't think so.
Dan?
I think
sorry.
the locker rooms not been strong enough mentally for a few years?
Yeah, I think he might have lost a few players like Ramsey and Artur and those guys, but we don't really care about them. And just to touch on Al's point, like I think even if it's someone from the U23s or the Primavera, like I've seen more fight from De Winter, Pellegrini. Like if a regular 11 starter is not showing the fight and the determination needed to play in Serie A or to play on Juventus, never mind. Play the young guys. At least I've seen some fight and some aggression out of them. It's that simple.
My answer is nice and short. I think if you want to gauge the level of losing the locker room between Max and Pirlo, I think Max has lost it less. I think Pirlo.
I think so.
I think he had less control over the players. I think Max has regained control. I wouldn't say he's lost the locker room though.
Yeah. I do want to touch on Bob's point. This is a great point. How many times has Rabiot been like Max has said words about him trying to pump his tires, trying to get him going and whatnot, and Rabiot simply is not capable.
Yeah,
he's just not capable, and it's part of it is where Max was playing him, but Rabiot is just not. I don't see it out of some of these guys. I don't see that level, that desire, that drive that needs to be there. I really, really don't.
If you want to talk about kitchen fire, a dumpster fire is also something that's caught fire. So
yeah. I mean, when you're right, and it sucks. But
okay. Have Juventus hit rock bottom? What is the rock bottom?
This isn't rock bottom.
Well, damn, I kind of hope it is rock bottom because I don't want to go any lower.
But it isn't rock bottom. Like rock bottom would be like we don't even get in to like.
What's your rock bottom?
Seventh. Like seventh is rock bottom, man. Like seventh, absolutely no trophies. Like that's rock bottom because then you think the Lick's staying?
No.
You think these guys are like you're probably going to stay with like Locatelli, Chiesa, and stuff will stay, whatnot. But man, and then try to attract players when you have to be limited with funds. Good luck, man. Yeah. Good luck. That's rock bottom. Not getting into a European spot. That's rock bottom for me, man. Not getting into like a year seventh, rock bottom. That's back to the banter days, man, where we're finishing in seventh.
That's Roma every year or Lazio, and you're screwed.
Yeah. I saw DeSantis in here earlier, but he took off
no trophies.
Time.
Obviously, yeah, no trophies, right?
What's rock bottom for you, Ed?
I think this is it, man. Like, even like not making it into Europe is rock bottom.
That's rock bottom. Yeah.
Like realistically, we're not falling outside the top 10. Like we'll be, but I think in that 10 to 7 range, that's I don't think we're gonna be able to get any lower than that.
We're gonna open it up now for everybody that's on the live too. You got questions and whatnot, fire away at any point in time, you guys. And Sal agreeing with the point earlier, bench players that don't leave it all on the field.
Yep.
He 100% agrees. Doesn't matter who these guys are. But yeah, it's tough. I don't think this is rock bottom right now. I think realistically, when you look at this team, I mean, we know that we're a work in progress. Ups and downs are going to take place, right? It's just part of it. Unfortunately, like we're going to have nights like this. We're going to have games like this because we know that the issue is a combination of everything. Max has dropped the ball on a couple occasions now this season. Admittedly, dropped the ball on a couple occasions. The players themselves, we just talked about it. We highlighted it in the clips too. The effort just hasn't been there from the guys to where it needs to be. So the standard's not there. And the biggest thing for me, again, is what is being done to correct it. So for me, I start off by saying T-Bone. Why T-Bone? No, we don't want to recall that. But yeah, rock bottom.
That was it right there. Yeah.
What's being done to correct that? And for me, it's got to come down to the competition on the field. And I really don't care if guys are unhappy. If they're not bringing it on the pitch, I don't care if those guys are unhappy because it really doesn't matter. And it's guys like Ramsey, and even Rabiot now, for instance, like you're not getting the job done. You're not up to the standard. Max needs to establish the standard. No manager through these 3 years has established the standard and held the guys to it. Idris brings up a great point. Every guy that we've replaced has not been up to the quality of the guy we're trying to replace. So the Mercados need to be super methodical moving forward. These next 2 summers are going to be massive for this team. Ups and downs are going to happen. I can take that. What I can't take is the standard of what we ask for dropping.
Yeah.
Is this what Juventus has come to? Are we accepting guys playing soft on 50-50 balls against Venezia? Are we serious? Is that what I will not tolerate that. I won't take that. The standard needs to be brought up. And if the guys aren't up to it, next man up. And I don't care if we have to start going into U23s. How embarrassing for a professional guy, some of these vets, if I'm looking at U23s, because Sandro, you come out here and you dog it in a 1-1 game, acting like it's 7-0. Shit can't happen, boys.
Yeah, he had a rough one yesterday. I always like
what
earlier
on
in the
earth
year
was that back heel run thing, whatever, to Quadrado on the side there? Like, that's laughable shit, man.
So I was, we had conversations earlier in the year, and I'm big enough to admit when I have to change my view on things. And
another failed prediction.
No. It wasn't one of those because I don't fail at predictions. It was more of how do we get the youth in? Like we're challenging for a Champions League spot. I don't think there's space. I think the team is really showing now to prove me wrong to say that there is space for the youth to get into this lineup because, like you said, there's no drop off from when the starter's in there to when their replacement comes in. And I didn't expect the drop off to be that awful. Now we have a lot of injuries at the moment, but I'm more leaning now. I think it was myself and Omar talking about this. Why not play the youth now? What do we have to lose?
Yeah.
Right. This is the time now to say, okay,
the thing to lose is what we've all been talking about, which is Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you have the confidence that going that route completely is going to get us into that 4th spot?
Well, if Rabiot and Sandro Bentancur are playing like they're not even interested or playing in Serie C, like then why not?
We can't go a full lineup though, but like Pellegrini's fine. Pellegrini's fine.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Even
he's got to
Sule
tone it down on the yellows. Anthony's 100% right on that.
Yeah.
But Sule, I'd have no fear. I'm going with Sule. If Quadrado's going to hit the turf left, right, and center all game, and then not try and feed guys when they're in prime areas. Yeah, Sule, let's go out there. Let's see what you can do. Right? Like I like Quad better at right back, and I've been saying that a lot this season. Like sliding him up, I don't know what it is. He's lost it.
It could be a knee-jerk reaction, right? Because we have Danilo out, McKennie out, Chiesa out.
But doesn't Danilo make a massive difference yesterday?
No, I'm just saying, like, formation-wise, and like a lot of starters. I don't think any one makes a difference yesterday, but I think as a whole, when you get all those players
I think
back,
Chiesa makes a huge difference, to be honest.
Chiesa will make a big difference.
If he's played properly.
In this 4-2-3-1,
yes.
massive difference. Yeah. Massive difference. But again, I still, even when Chiesa comes back on the pitch, I need to see the ideas, man. I need to see, like, these guys working together. I need to see some chemistry built. Like, it's crazy. We've been trying to go with this 4-2-3-1 for a series of matches now. And again, it comes into the guys that are on the fringe players, and they don't know what roles they're to fill and go in. I don't put that on the players. I don't. I put that on Max.
Yeah.
So is Kulu sold then now?
You know what?
And Kulishevsky, honestly, we have to be serious here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's almost nobody that's safe in this roster outside of like De Ligt and Chiesa, if we're being honest. Locatelli. Those
Pellegrini.
three are 100% safe, but
I
the
think
older guys, you're not
Pellegrini
going to get
stays.
the deals you want for Bonucci, Chiellini, whatever.
Mhm.
They're sticking around, right?
Mhm.
But outside of that, like if a prime deal came in on McKennie, would you sell? I probably would. Like if a prime deal came in, maybe.
Well,
Who are we going to sell? Kulishevsky? McKennie's got value. Like Rabiot's got a little bit. Ramsey's got nothing, guys. Ramsey's leaving. Ramsey's leaving for nothing.
we got to pay him to leave.
Okay? Yeah, like Ramsey's leaving for nothing.
I don't know why he would leave though, because he's living in Ronaldo's old house. Like
Yeah,
that's some pretty good digs, man. For 60,000 pounds,
Oh my
euros a
God.
month.
Ramsey's kills me, man.
It's a good spot.
Kills me. I can't take players like that seriously. I don't
Mhm.
take players like that seriously. You know, if there's an international break tomorrow, it's that Kevin Nash gif, Lucci, where he gets out of the wheelchair, hops out, and he's like, yeah, I'm good to go. You know that's a scenario. He's totally like, this is just, they need to end it. And there was a meeting last week, or like a few days ago, I guess, between Juventus and Ramsey, and they just need to cut their ties there. But honestly, no player is safe. I feel that way. Like outside of Locatelli, Chiesa, De Ligt, no player is safe. If we don't make top four, oh yeah.
I think,
And Jeremy, like I agree. Allegri does need to start taking some
Yeah,
blame. We
absolutely.
can't just leave it on the roster. Are we saying the guys that took the pitch yesterday are not capable to pull a victory out against Venezia?
Venezia stink. Like I don't give me this. Venezia is a team to watch out for. No,
didn't
that
they allow
lineup should-
4 like just last week, and we can only score 1? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Exactly.
Oh,
And
Simeone,
again, the
whatever.
proof is there.
We stink. They stink. We stink.
The effort was nowhere near, and I don't care how much talent you put on the pitch. If it doesn't work together and it doesn't have set structure system, it's not going to work. And it doesn't really matter who you play. And we're prime example of that over the past 3 seasons. It doesn't matter who you play. If it's not calculated, orchestrated, and mapped out, it comes out looking like a pile of shit, basically. Okay? And it needs to be way better. Max needs to take some of the accountability, 100%. What everybody's saying with these players, it's again, we talked about with Pogba. Does Pogba come in there and make a massive difference? No, if the rest of the pieces don't make sense and they don't work together. So to just say, oh, bring in this guy, bring in that guy, bring in this guy, it's going to save the day. No, like it's still not going to save the day. Prime example, look at PSG. It's a mess. That's a pretty solid looking roster, isn't it? It's a mess.
And who did I say I wanted in the next round of Champions League? I'll take them. Might as well. Why not?
What's that?
I'll take PSG in the second round of Champions League.
Sandro up against Mbappe and Neymar. That'll go well.
yeah. Anthony's just kind of like, oh yeah. Sandro,
I will concede defeat on that point, but other than that,
so Mohammed has been patiently waiting. Okay, so do we see top 4 realistically?
let me check.
Where do you guys think? Like, is top 4? Are you still in top 4?
Last week I said 7 days ago I said yes. 7 days later, I'll stay. We're gonna make 3rd.
I still say Juventus gets in the top 4. I still, This result is, again, we're seeing the ups and downs of a team, of a work in progress. These things happen. But it isn't just one. What we're trying to paint the picture is that it's not just one, it's not just players. It's like Max has to take some of this too, and he needs to get it going. And the biggest thing I can see when I look watching this team that's different than the Juve like I grew up with and everything is the effort, the desire. Yeah. The standard needs to be brought back. And that's the biggest thing I felt with Max coming back and why I was for it. Because everybody knows I protected Pirlo quite a bit last season. I always said, like, hey, I think any manager comes into this team and they struggle. But the one thing I asked from him, and the reason I was for Max coming back, is because I truly did believe he was going to reestablish the standard of what it should be to play at Juventus. So far, I haven't really seen it, to be honest.
Atalanta's losing 1-0 right now to Verona, by the way, 30th minute. And that's what drives me nuts. Like Milan ties yesterday, they almost lose.
I know.
What did I say to Luca last week?
You said a lot of stuff to Luca last week. I get to be way more specific.
Who cares? What does it matter? It's 30 minutes in, and it's not Juve, so whatever.
Hey, I've taught you well, young Daniel. I've taught you too well.
So, guys, like, I don't know. What are your? I guess we got to get to like some closing thoughts again. If there's any questions you guys want to throw in there, go ahead.
Touch on Alex's point.
Get to it. If you're
this one,
yeah, what like aren't capable of executing from it? Okay, what do you mean? Why could we not execute a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3? The players we have despite how bad we are playing, these players are not like completely talentless. They're not. It's not Crotone or Empoli or whatever. Like these guys can play. We got to put them in positions where they can achieve certain things. Like we can see that the 4-4-2 doesn't work. So I don't get that.
I don't think we've had our best 11 for 2 games in a row.
At least if not longer.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying we have not had our 2 games in a row where we've had our best 11. Can you think of a time when maybe in that 9-game unbeaten streak, were we fully healthy then? I don't think so, because I think Bernardeschi was out a little bit, Dybala was out. So I don't think we've had to kind of give Max a little bit of a break. He hasn't had his best 11 to deploy consistently.
Yeah.
But it still does not solve number one, that 4-4-2 is not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't solve the fact that there's guys that are not up to the effort level that still get minutes repeatedly out there. Injuries haven't put anything down on that. There's maybe a couple matches where you could honestly say, yeah, he's a bit handcuffed. Outside of that, though, he hasn't been.
So handcuffed. Okay, here we go. Here's a question for everybody, for you two. What is your best 11? Everybody healthy. We're going to say the 4-2-3-1. What's
my best 11 for this team right now across the back is Quadrado. I think you got to put Bonucci in there. And De Ligt. Let's go there. Chiellini's fine. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm open to the center backs.
Yeah.
On the left side, it's hard to not say Pellegrini. It's hard to not say that based on what he gives you over Sandro. In the middle of the park, Locatelli and Bentancur for me in the 2-man pivot. Locatelli and Benta.
How many times have we seen that?
Chiesa, Dybala, Bernardeschi.
How many times have we seen Locatelli and Bentancur together?
Twice.
Couple times.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so Locatelli, Bentancur. Okay, keep going. Sorry, you're 3 in the middle.
Dybala in the hole.
Yeah.
Chiesa, Bernardeschi, Morata.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd argue that Keane I'd probably play maybe over Morata. To be honest, if we were going to play that road, it's tough call there because neither one has been hidden. And both of them have been firing blanks.
The only change I would make, I'd play Danilo over Quadrado. There, I said it.
Fair enough, right? And how many times has he had that team at his disposal?
Towards the beginning of the season.
At the start, quite often.
Yeah.
It's an honest question. Did he have it ready? I don't know.
No, because he was playing a 4-4-2.
Euros. Yeah.
Exactly. We played 4-4-2 while we had all these guys available.
Yeah.
I can't buy into that. These guys are not, the players don't suit that. We all have said they suit at bare minimum a 4-3-3 more than a 4-4-2.
Yep. 100%.
Like 4-4-2 it's funny. Fans crucified Pirlo. Enter Max Allegri, the guy with all the experience, doing the exact same thing that we crucified Pirlo for a year ago. Mm. And I don't believe it's because, these players, this is all they can do. No. Everybody can watch earlier in the season that we have not utilized Chiesa to his talents.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The 4-4-2 does not utilize our guys to their strengths, especially when you're trying to play Rabiot as one of those outside. Like, do we really need to go over this and say it's the players and they're not capable of playing any other style? I disagree.
But Rabiot was
Bentancur
playing
shines for
outside.
Uruguay, plays a two-man pivot, plays next to Locatelli 2 matches, and they look solid as a unit, as pivots.
But Rabiot was playing the outside left when Bernardeschi was injured.
No, but even at the start of the season,
it looked like, again, a dumpster fire. Sandro and Rabiot should be illegal to be on the same side. That should never happen. And you don't need to coach football as long as Max has to see it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's a dead end.
Yeah.
It's a dead end. So it's just
I'm just saying,
get behind saying it's the players. Again, it's Venezia, guys. What's Venezia?
I'm saying moving forward, I think it's like I blame Max a lot for the changes he made yesterday, but I also think we haven't had our best 11 available consistently at all, like other teams do.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: if you're actually think as Max for a second, do you think he'd actually play that starting 11?
And that's a great question. My quick answer is probably not.
Exactly. So that's what's concerning to me.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'm gonna get crucified for this, but I think we finished. I think we finished 5th. Just based on our effort against Venezia. Imagine that same effort against Inter, AC, Napoli in the at once in the new year. Just imagine that same effort. We're gonna get crucified. And
my fear is
out the door. Come
January, it's gonna be very, very limited into some of the help that we need to get.
Oh yeah, we'll be lucky if one player comes. If
it's gonna be.
Yeah, we didn't do this, did we?
No. We definitely did not compare Bentancur to Pogba. It must be something in the live chat.
No, maybe it was something Dell saw on Twitter, but that's definitely something that we've never done.
I've never compared Bentancur to Pogba.
Yeah.
That's actually like alarming right now.
Even Big Bandana brings up a good point again. Pirlo tried to change things. You got the best out of Chiesa, out of Cuadrado, out of even Morata had how many goals last year?
20 on all comps. 20 something.
This season, these 3 have been.
But honestly, Morata hasn't been finishing. Like, he's had a ton of opportunities this year.
Yeah.
He's just not finishing. But I agree with you. We got the best out of our key guys.
Mm-hmm.
And right now this year, and again, this is one of the problems I see in this team is that even our vets, even the guys like Cuadrado go through matches where their effort and the standard is not being upheld. Yesterday, Cuadrado, like I said, how much time did he spend on the ground? It's unacceptable. It's embarrassing too because it's Venezia. Dig in. Get tough. I don't want to see a weak, soft Juve. I want to see a Juve that's going to go out there and grind and fight. And if we do that and we lose, okay, let's go on to the next one. We put our best foot forward. But when you're not fighting, that's where I really lose my patience.
But okay, Alex, Ronaldo
has Ronaldo.
Okay, understandable. But the midfield was worse. He had no backup. He had no there's so many different factors that people don't want to consider with Pirlo. And that's when I get upset. Because they're saying Max is the answer. Oh, last year, how many people said, "Oh, if Max was coaching this team, we'd be, we'd win the league, no problem." I don't think so. There's a lot more issues to this team than everyone wants to admit or wanted to admit. Now they're finally realizing because Max can't do everything.
I think last year you would have believed it. It would have been easy to believe, but I think watching this year, it's kind of. I would say I don't think Max wins last year either.
Exactly.
Conte's team was, and that's what I'm talking about. The effort. The friggin' standard. Yeah. I expect Max to be at that same level in terms of what he demands out of the players. And I don't know, man, has Max gone soft in these 2 years off? Is this not the Max we knew before? I don't know.
We had our preseason predictions. I can't remember where I wrote them down. There was the number of jacket throws That was one of the predictions, and I haven't seen one this year yet.
But he did kick, didn't he?
Right?
Kick Chiesa and Bernardeschi a couple of times. Does that count?
No.
Yeah, he kicked them a
jacket
couple
throws,
times
Lucci.
in the butt. But
Jacket
yeah, I mean, like,
throws.
I don't know. I thought he would. I thought I just expected so much more out of Max, and to not see the fire out of the guys is shocking from a Max-led team.
We can
Dells,
all
if Ten Hag said he was ready to take over mid-season, would you get rid of Max for him?
Can someone help me out who that is?
Ten Hag that looked after Ajax?
I know Eric's a big fan of Ten Hag, so I think Eric would probably say yes on that. I don't know.
Is that the guy's name, or is that just his last name?
That's his last name?
Listen. I think it's a dangerous game right now to get rid of a manager mid-season.
Yeah.
That's what Genoa does. That's not what Juventus does. We do it at the end of the season.
There was two teams in Serie A that got rid of their managers 3 games in, by the way. Okay.
Genoa?
Verona, wasn't it?
Oh, Verona was one, yeah.
I don't know. I think definitely not mid-season.
Yeah.
Max needs to get at least this season. But at some point, we have to give our managers the mercados, right? So even through all these frustrations with Max and the players, everybody, okay, we can't stress this enough. It's not just Max. You have to, at some point, just buckle down and, let's give this guy some players. Let's give this guy the opportunity to build and whatnot. But where's your breaking point? And Eric had a text or a tweet today that I was surprised to see out of him because he's a big Allegri guy. And he said he is starting now to lose faith in Max. And he was number 1 for getting Max back in. And he goes, I'm starting to not see it. Yeah. And if it were him, he said he would look up a way to free the funds up, buy him out, and bring in a different manager, somebody that's got a pedigree or whatever. But his Zidane. Call was Zidane. And for me, the same question goes to Zidane that went to Max, because they both, even when Max came to us, even with Milan, he took over good sides. Can he be the builder? Can Zidane be the builder?
I don't know about that.
I don't necessarily know.
But the question is who's the builder? Like we've had 3 coaches in 3 years. None of them were the builders, right? You bring in players for Saudi and then you leave, and then
do you know who the builder was? The builder was Marotta. And that, again, is where things started to go sideways and everybody wants to attack the roster. Marotta was the builder, and it's starting to, Paratici, he did some good, but he was scattered. And it was clear and evident in All or Nothing how scattered Paratici was. If it comes through in a series where they only show you 40-minute episodes 8 times in a season worth, and you could see how scattered the guy is, I don't know. There's no set plan.
But I'm not saying who was the builder. I'm saying if moving forward, you need to decide who's the builder. If it's Max, then you got to give him 2 or 3 windows.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Is it Cherubini now? Is it Arriva Bene and Cherubini? Who you need to decide who the builder is, and then the manager has to work with that person to bring the players in that they need. Because right now, Max isn't the builder. Max is just he's just on triage out here, trying to do what he can with this lineup. So I've said it right from the beginning. I was a big Max guy, but
everybody joining live right now, Anth, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Eric brings it up. If you could make the swap at season's end and bring Conte back, would you bring Conte in? And I want to see where everybody stands on this in the live here too. If
that's
Conte
a no for man.
became available and you could go that route, would you bring Conte back and flip the switch on Max? Lucci.
That's a tough one, man.
Big Ben Easy coming in hot. No.
Yeah, I don't. Conte is just really stuck in his ways. He won't, as much as Allegri is too. I just don't think Conte would be able to to change. It's his one style, and that's it. And that's why they never actually win. Like they never go deep in Champions League, and so many other factors. I don't know.
Sal, does Max have enough fire to build?
True, but Conte is not the final product. You know what I mean? You bring him in for a few years, and then it's a dumpster fire, and then you got to find someone else.
My one thing with Conte is that we don't have the funds to support his build because he asked for a lot. He knows what he wants to make his system work and stuff, but it's going to take this, and we don't have it.
Yeah.
So another big thing about Max. He's supposed to get the most out of what you give him. So while all these people want to defend Max and put it more on the players, remember that you guys used to always praise how much this guy gets out of what little he has for a roster. Are we getting that, Max? I don't necessarily feel that way. I don't feel that way. So would I bail on Max? Probably not.
Yeah.
This team, this club needs to be really methodical in the mercados. 2, I think, is the magic number for us to start to clean up some of the mess.
You mean like 2 summers or
2 summers?
Okay. Yeah.
Crucial for us to get in Europe and get those funds during those. Because if that doesn't happen,
could be in trouble.
Yeah, it starts to go even further out, boys.
Well, so are you okay with us falling down the table if it means we go maybe to the finals or semifinals of Champions League?
I'm not okay with falling in the table. I think we need to maintain in Europe because if you make that deep run and you lose, like unless you win it and get into the competition next season, then it does you.
But it brings
you take
you more
those
money.
funds, but then next year you're suffering, right?
I don't think the deep run brings you as much money, though.
What's that?
What do you mean?
The deep run doesn't bring you as much money as qualifying for the next season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't see us competing on both levels. As much as we hate to say it, but where's this team gonna go? How much depth?
And that's what I've been saying again is adjusting expectations. For me, Serie A, we have to get into Europe. Have to qualify for Europe.
Yeah.
That's a must. Whatever comes of Champions League and everything like that, like that's great. You can get further in Champions League if we showed the proper effort and determination and start to play like a team. Because what we're seeing right now, we're not going to get very far anyways. Serie A needs to be a priority. They need to qualify for Europe.
Are you guys sacrificing Coppa Italia this year then? Just send the Primavera team out there?
I think you would do that regardless, no?
I mean, not full Primavera, but I mean, like if Coppa Italia, whatever happens. I'm not going all out for it. We're not a team that could compete on all 3 fronts right now.
Yeah. But then again, you have some young talent that should be able to get you decently far in Coppa Italia. Cow, Kulu, De Winter, whoever else. Like you can get some of these guys some minutes in that competition.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Milan's already out of Coppa Italia, so they only have 1 competition.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's like the other things, it's like it is what it is, but this team must qualify for Europe. Okay.
I don't think Coppa Italia gets you a spot in Europa League. Does it? There used to be a Coppa della Coppe, but that got wrapped into Europa League. I'm not sure if does it get you into that other thing? What's that other tournament?
The Conference League?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Dells, good question. We should look into that.
We will look into that. That's interesting.
I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
I still say this Juventus side gets into top 4 by the season's end. It's the same as last year. We're a work in progress, and there hasn't been much change. The big change is we lost the 30 goal scorer, and right now we have no ideas on who's going to come up with these goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're not doing it as a team, which is the biggest thing that needed to happen. Is you need to replace those goals as a unit, because all you could do was bring in Moise Keane to try and replace 30-plus goals, but he's not even getting the minutes. And between him and Morata, neither one has been firing. And as a team, we still look very individualistic in our play.
Yeah.
It's not a set team. So
this kind of changes things, man.
it gets you a spot in Europa League.
We should get into Europa League regardless. We're not that bad.
I see us getting into Europa. Like, we're not. Are we going to get
Come on.
7th? Like, come on. No.
Well,
I still think we finished third. I still think,
and again, this is the same thing we're talking about, guys. If you look at the Coppa Italia, you're going to get pretty deep in Coppa Italia. You're going to face a lot of these teams. The same teams were struggling. We just drew against Venezia yesterday, so we still have to correct. We still have to get it right.
Okay.
It still comes down to that. The standard needs to be set, though. Max, I'm looking at you. Players, if you ain't cutting it, I don't care who the hell the name is on the back of the kit. It's time to ride the pine.
So if you're Max and,
Finito.
like, he has some of these players that aren't really his style, his Max's type of players. So if you get offers for like Kulu, Artur, and obviously ship out Ramsey in January, are you doing that or are you waiting till the summer?
No, you got to make some moves.
We got to make some moves.
But you can't just ship them out you need the money.
You need the money.
I think
should we fight for top 4 still, or should we start preparing for next season? You have to fight for top 4.
Have to.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to fight for top 4 because preparing for next season means preparing to lose guys if you don't get that.
Yeah.
I believe that 100%. 100%. But again, we're talking about all this and, there's frustrations here in the live chat. There's frustrations from us because we know and we've seen it. These guys are capable of much more. So while we attack the players or we attack the coach, it's unacceptable. We have been accustomed to supporting a team that has always left us proud in the effort. And lately, for a couple years now, we can't say that. And that is the one thing I won't stand for. And as much as we, can look at all these problems and all these issues going on, it's also not a massive, massive thing to correct. Okay? It isn't a big thing to correct. I do think a killer up top makes a big, big difference for this team because we still are generating chances and whatnot and whatnot. But again, the standard. Let's just get that. That's the bare minimum. That's all I'm asking. I will be happy. Okay. We don't get a result, whatever, but we left it all out there. So be it. But that is the Juventus that I'm not happy seeing. And I think we can all share those same sentiments.
Yep.
You grew up watching this team for a long time, Anthony, like I did. Even Lucci, like through the eras where he picked up and started watching this team, we had an identity. Okay. That should never change. No matter who comes and goes at manager, no matter who the board is, none of that should ever change. Juventus is to be fino alla fine until the bitter end and supposed to be an opponent nobody wishes to go into against because it's going to take 95, possibly 100 minutes to take them down. And lately we have not been that team for years. All I'm asking from everybody involved, get it back. Get it back. And players, all this, you can't play these young guys. You can't do that. I don't care who it is anymore. If you're walking to a 50-50 ball and a guy beats you, that's 15 yards beyond. You got to sit your ass down.
Can't happen. Yeah.
You got to sit your ass down.
Mm-hmm.
What are we really watching? When Rabiot can float about the pitch, the guy is, 6'5"? He might as well be a mouse in the way he plays. One of the Venezia guys could have walked up and kissed his girlfriend on the sideline there. He would have shook the guy's hand. Okay? That's how soft he was yesterday. And I'm sorry you're a big Rabiot fan. I know you got his kit, but he's awful. Let's go. Let's get the effort back, Juve. Let's get back to who we were. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Thankfully, with all these questions, all the stuff that's going on, We have a week to just regroup. Enjoy yourselves. Get ready. Bologna. Don't ask Cliff how this game's going to go, okay? Because he said Venezia's going to be tough, shouldn't be tough. And then Bologna, no. Juve needs to come out hard, okay? A week to think about what just happened, regain themselves. I expect a thrashing, and it better be a thrashing, okay? And if the goals don't come, that's fine, but they better fight and take it to Bologna. That's all I want. That's all I expect. Lucci, been a pleasure. A lot of stuff going on. Anthony, Raspy Ant, we love you nonetheless. Okay, fantastic job. Everybody in the live, you guys are money, and it's awesome that you guys make it out, especially during these tough games that it's so hard for us to cover, and it's frustrating, but we love having you all on here and going through it. Okay. Thank you for all the support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new for it. And again, let's take a week to recover. We got some content that's going to be coming your way through that week. Okay. A lot of fun stuff. The Serie A recap on Twitch. Make sure you get over to Twitch and follow us there. All UVcast on Twitch. Cliff and Lou will bring you the Serie A recap on Stoppage Time, our new show. It's good stuff. So thanks everybody again. Let's make sure Juve starts to do their part. We're doing ours here. Oh my God. Blood, sweat, and tears here, boys. Yep. Okay. Blood, sweat, and tears here. But no matter what, okay, it's fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Let's see where the chips fall by the end, okay? And again, if you're listening to this podcast on audio, get over to YouTube. What are you waiting for? Get over to YouTube, get in the live chat, and join us on the show. Again, thanks, everybody. Ciao.